Hello and welcome to episode 22 of Impacted. And I am your host, Bison, and today I'm joined by my usual TNI UK crew, and that is Simply Steve and the incredible Joker. Hi guys, how you doing?
Good morning.
Good morning, buddy. How are you?
I'm well, thank you.
Good. How about you, Steve? You all right?
Yeah, we're good this end. Cheers, mate.
Fantastic. Good to hear it. So, I mean, we haven't had a massive news week this week, but we've got a few little things that we're going to talk about. And don't forget, guys, that we really, really love to see your comments. Don't forget to ask us a question. We are going to be doing the TNI UK listener question of the week a little bit later on. So don't forget, we will give you a shout out, ask your question, talk about it amongst us for a little while. And who knows, maybe our thoughts are going to be the same as yours. You just don't know, do you? But one thing is for sure, is that if you don't agree or you've got a different perspective on anything that we're talking about today, please leave us a comment and let us know. Nothing is taboo. At the end of the day, we've all got an opinion. You either agree or you don't. And if you don't, well, tough, because this is our opinion. So, so it's been an interesting week, guys, isn't it? It's been a very, very interesting week. But what I want to do is I want to head straight into a subject which we meant to touch on last week, but there was so much stuff going on, we never really got onto it. But that is the Sami Callihan and Trey Miguel storyline, the way that that's progressing at the moment, or ICQ. It depends how we're sort of kind of taking it, really. I think that Sami is definitely, obviously now starting to get more and more into his ICU style of character. As we saw this past week on Impact, he turned up at Trey's training school and started causing a bit of havoc there. That was interesting. But what are our thoughts on the way this is going, guys? I mean, is this heading towards sacrifice, or is it going to continue on to maybe rebellion? What are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, I think it's going to continue on further than sacrifice. Up until this week, I had a feeling it was going to go into an EC3 Moose kind of area, like where Sami is sort of seeing something in Trey and sort of thinking, if I can mold this guy into something, then, there's something in this guy, like he's coming in like a house on fire. If I can control that rage, it'll be something really sort of dangerous, kind of like what we hoped Jake and Sami would be. This would be like Trey and Sami, but this kind of week maybe teetered off a little bit, but I'm going to stick to my guns and say that's where this will go.
Okay, what about you, Joe? What are your thoughts on this storyline?
Now that Steve mentioned that, Sami Callihan did walk off with one of the other students. So there's an angle building there. I think it's gonna go to sacrifice. They're going to have a big match there, and then it's going to carry on throughout the rest of the year. It's going to be the new Eddie Edwards versus Sami Callihan to really, really bolster Trey up as they try to build him towards the X Division, possibly world title sometime in the future.
I think the interesting point in this clearly is that they're obviously going to push Trey, and they got to put him with the right person. I think if you put him with Sami, who knows him so well, it's been part of his kind of like training process. He's been there, he knows them inside out. Well, in fact, funny enough, he knows all three of the former rascals, as you want to put it now, very, very well. And I think he is definitely the right person to be putting into the storyline with Trey Miguel if you're going to push him. Sami, at the end of the day, is nothing but, he's a selfless worker. He understands that every talent has its time. Sometimes you just have to be patient. In 1 minute you're in favor, but you can't be in favor the whole time. It's going to get boring for the watcher. So one thing Impact are really good at is sort of kind of like switching up who they're pushing, at any given time. Because, like I say, you're just going to get bored if it's the same people being pushed all the time. And I think Sami understands the business. He totally understands that. But at the same time, he's very prominent in the storyline. So, even though I think it's the vehicle to push Trey to the next level, you're still going to get some really superb stuff from Sami because, let's face it, the guy is probably one of the best heel promo guys in the world. And I know that I mean, Joe, I know you're a massive fan of Sammy, aren't you?
Oh yes, yeah. Well, go back to Pentagon, go back to Eddie Edwards, go back to when he was after Alicia Edwards. Oh, OVE, Sammy Callahan was just the massive. This guy is the best heel in the business, and he's just doesn't fail to underperform, even with the stuff with Tessa Blanchard. You know, nobody else would step up to it. So Sammy Callahan said, "Give it to me. I'll show you what we can do," and they made it work.
Totally. What do you think, Steve?
Yeah, I say, and I think like Trey's one of those guys who, you know, he's been in a lot of good storylines, but he's always kind of been the reactor. We've never seen him kind of bring a storyline and start the character work. So hopefully Sammy's one of these good characters that can make him develop into a character where he can then maybe start a storyline. And I think one thing we always forget about Sammy, he's a great technical wrestler as well. He's always in like a lot of hardcore matches, but he is a great actual technical wrestler as well, isn't he?
Oh, he's fantastic. You know, there is no doubt about that. You know, both guys are incredibly talented wrestlers in the ring. They could, you know, completely different movesets, but they know how to tell a story. You know, and that is the important part, is they understand how to tell a story. They can both sell. You know, they understand the psychology of a wrestling match. I think that's really, really important for any wrestler. You have to understand the psychology of what you're trying to create. And you know, Trey is young. I mean, you know, he's 25, 26, something like that. You know, he's you know, he's got so much ahead of him. You know, working with a Sammy in a major TV storyline, I think is, you know, well, you can't beat it. It's fantastic. No. It's the way to get it forward. You know, you want to have a heel for your sort of babyface character, well, you're definitely going to get one. In Sammy Callahan. And the more heel he becomes, the more babyface the other one becomes, even without trying, because he's so good at being a heel.
One of the things I like about what they're doing with Trey now is Trey isn't full-blown babyface.
No, he's sort of in between, isn't he?
He's the anti-hero. He's still a rebel. You know, he's still rebellious, and you know, he's just pissed off at everybody.
Yeah, he's like the rebellious young man, isn't he?
Yeah, but so it's like Sammy Callahan's, like he's putting across, he hasn't got the passion, but Trey Miguel does have the passion. He just can't channel it properly.
Yeah, possibly. Though the thing is, this is where this storyline is so clever, because obviously what they've done is they've taken something that the man with the, you know, the nose has said about Trey Miguel when he was asked a question about, you know, when is Trey getting signed, you know, with the other two, and all that kind of stuff, and he just said, like, you know, basically some people have got the passion for the business, some people haven't. Well, you know, just because you decide that you don't want to go to the WWE doesn't mean you have any less passion than anybody that's there. It means that you've made a decision which is right for you in your career. You know, if he'd have gone there, he still would have been an amazing wrestler. But I understand his fear. He wants to be a singles competitor, and to do that, he needs to be away from the other two.
The crutches.
Yeah, as he called it. But I love the way that they are proper pushing this whole word passion.
Yeah. Really, really. It's like a nail in Trey's head, and a nail to all the fans of Trey Miguel. I dig it with WWE, especially Mr. Big Nose. And,
exactly.
Yeah, it's just Sammy Callahan's one of these guys that's really, really great at really pointing these little things out, and it makes you think, Christ, this is what they're, you know, it's like, ha, gotcha, ha, gotcha, ha. You know, it's like that childish tit for tat, but a lot more better.
Yeah, without doubt. So, you know, one thing, all I know is that I think this is got a lot of legs. I think we're going to start to see this now start to build a bit more momentum. Like you say, into that match sacrifice. You know, again, you know, that comes in that speculation of extra matches that we're going to see. We are going to talk about the matches already announced in a second. But the other storyline I wanted to have a little chat about was obviously the way that the Violent by Design storyline is progressing now. For me, this is again, one of the most intriguing storylines going at the moment for me on the entire show, and because you don't really know where it's going, and you can't seem to kind of like I never expected, like this past week on Impact in the promo where basically Dina just got an absolute ass kicking behind the door with by Joe Doran or whatever, and he was just taking it or whatever, as his punishment for losing, to Jake twice. I never expected that at all. I didn't think that was where it was going to go with it, but it's an interesting, it really is interesting that they're taking that route. It's becoming more cult-like in its approach now. So I don't know. What do you think, Steve?
Yeah, it kind of like, because my thoughts when they were having that match, when Cody was having that match against Jake, was like, okay, if he loses, what happens next? Because EY said like failure's not an option. So what does happen? And obviously, we've seen what happens, and you get the feeling there's kind of a step 1 punishment, step 2 punishment, and then a step 3 punishment.
Yeah.
And like you said, this feels kind of like a cult. And obviously Jake's turned them down. You wonder if there is anyone else lined up, and when EY gets the cult he wants, because normally the idea of when they have a group, they want all the titles, but I don't get the feeling that's what EY's interested in.
No, I'm not sure he's interested in titles and stuff like that. He's talking about being the cure for the business, isn't he? He's talking about being the cure for wrestling. Like we've got the pandemic going on. It's almost like there's a pandemic within the wrestling business, and the Violent by Design is the cure for that. So yeah, no, I don't think it's about titles at all, which is interesting. I mean, what about you, Joe? I mean, where do you see this storyline going? I mean, what are your thoughts on where we've come from?
Oh, the promo this week was really dark. And
it was chilling, wasn't it?
Very, very chilling. It was that they started off having me thinking it's like OVE. It's going to be this big, violent, rebellious group of people. But as Dina started to transition into the group over Christmas, he started to really build up where Violent by Design is going and what their attitude is. They're not here about dominating the roster. They're not here about titles. They're here about curing the sickness in their industry. It's a jab at the company up north again. It's a jab at AEW. It's a jab at Impact Wrestling itself. So they are the ultimate heel faction in Impact Wrestling. I really do hope at some point we do get them going for the tag titles, because Joe Doring and Dino as tag champions would be awesome.
Yeah, I mean, there is a possibility there, isn't there? I mean, as soon as you've got as soon as you've got 2 or 3 people together, then there's always a possibility to be able to create those tag matches or those triple threat matches, or like you say, 3-on-3, or if you introduce more people, then you've got even more combinations that you can do. That's why factions work so well, because there's so much you can do with a faction. Down the line, different combinations. So I think that I certainly think there will be a match at Sacrifice with these guys, but it's kind of where that's going to be, and what because now with what's happened tonight, it's almost like is he going to stick Dina in with Joe? There's something, I don't know. There's something not going on here, or is this the way that they bring in the next member of the team? Is Dina going to go out and end up beating somebody, and then they take him away, and he ends up becoming the new version of himself, in his purest form and all that kind of stuff. I don't know. I'm interested to see where it's going, because at the moment I ain't sure. So it's good. I'm definitely looking forward to this. It's the most intriguing one. And every single week I look forward to what's Violent by Design going to do this week. I really do. But I tell you what, we had a few more matches added now, because I think we're pretty much, I think we got the 5 title matches added for Sacrifice, which is coming up. Is it next weekend or weekend after?
Weekend after, yeah.
When is it?
The
weekend
13th.
after the
It's
13th.
the 13th. That's right. So we got that coming in a couple of weekends. So, you know, we need to start building that up now. So we need to know what we're going for. So we've got here's a slight rundown of the matches then. So we've got the X Division Championship, which is TJP versus Ace Austin. That's going to be really good. I'm looking forward to that one. We've got Diana Perazzo versus ODB. That's for the Knockouts Championship match. Now, I love the way that came about on this past week's Impact. I was totally not expecting that at all. That's exactly how title matches need to be set up. I loved it. That was great. We've then got the Good Brothers versus the team of Finjuice. Juice Robinson and David Finlay. I think that's going to be a really, really good match also. But again, that's the tag team title match. And I think it's just basically setting up for the Good Brothers to beat another team that isn't Impact related. So that's good. We've got Fire and Flavor versus Jordan Grace and Jazz. I think that's going to be good because of Jordan Grace for me. The last few weeks, we've seen Jordan perform. She's looked amazing. So I'm looking forward to that one. And we've got Swan and Moose for the world title match. So I think that's going to be crazy as well. And note on this one, it is only for the Impact title. It's not for the TNA title.
Matt Striker, he did slip up on Explosion and mentioned unification.
But it didn't, though. That's not what is on this. Doesn't say unification at the moment.
I know, but he said he mentioned it on not Explosion, on before the Impact, that unification. So and a lot of people are buzzing now. It is like Scott D'Amore going to force Moose to defend the title, because there's obviously going to be more beatdowns between Rich Swann and Moose as it goes along. Moose saying that I'm still the real world champion, So you can see Scott D'Amore saying, well, if you really think you're that good, then put your title on the line too, and we'll settle it this way.
Yeah. I'm sure it could end up as a unification, but as it stands at the moment, it's just the Impact World title match. So I'd love to see it as a unification match, or maybe, you end up with a unification. No, well, you can't now because it has to be. No, because as it stands at the moment, Moose would just hold both titles.
Yeah.
So that wouldn't be a unification. He'd just hold two titles. So if it turns into a unification match, that would be interesting. But also doesn't make any sense to me because
it's a bit too soon.
Well, the Impact title already has the lineage of the old TNA title. So the TNA title is a completely new lineage now.
Yeah,
so
it doesn't hold any relevance. You've kind of bought this new one back just to unify it for no reason.
Yeah, there's no unification because they've already said that it's a fresh start for that title.
Yeah.
And the lineage goes to the Impact title.
Yeah.
So there's no reason to merge it at all.
Yeah.
It doesn't
feel like
make any sense.
Matt Sydal did that, didn't he, with the world title or something like that after he was the grand champion or something, and he unified it with another belt.
But just because he said he was.
Yeah.
Which was, again, really random and didn't make any sense.
Yeah, so, there wasn't much of a build to it, and there wasn't much hype to get around it.
No, I mean, I don't see any reason for doing it. But anyway, we'll see. We'll see where that goes. Who knows? Maybe it will be a unification match.
Yeah. I hope it doesn't. But we'll see.
I hope it doesn't. But what are your thoughts on any of the matches that we've got so far, then, Joe?
The card so far is amazing. It's as I expected it to pan out, I must admit, but I'm not disappointed. And there's still at least 2 or 3 matches free, and the way some of the storylines are building now, there's a lot of matches I've got in my mind to throw out on the table right now. Yeah.
I mean, what about you, Steve? What about the ones that we've got up at the moment? So, like I say, we've got all the title matches we've got there. Is there one that stands out for you? Is probably being the one that you're really looking forward to seeing?
As a standout, as one that I'm really looking forward to, I would probably have to say the world title match, just because I know that when it comes to a pay-per-view match, Moose always delivers.
Yeah, I mean, well, you're not wrong there. I mean, Moose is he's definitely a big match player. without any shadow of a doubt. And again, so is Rich Swann. So know that no matter what, you're going to get one hell of a match there from those two. It's going to be hard hitting. It's going to be corner to corner stuff.
Yeah, and I'm intrigued. And it's one of those that I can't predict where it's going to go.
Yeah,
definitely. Yeah, no, I agree with that. You agree with that too, Joe?
I do. Yeah, it's one of the standout matches to me, and there's that one, and I'm also looking forward to Fire and Flavor versus Jordan Grace and Jazz as well. A lot more than the other tag team title match. But
yeah, I have to agree there.
I like the way they've built up Jordan Grace and Jazz versus Fire and Flavor in a very short space of time after they lost to them originally, so. Yeah, it's great to see that they've got a new team for Fire and Flavor to take on. But it's because Kiera Hogan and Tasha Steelz just wouldn't keep their mouth shut.
Well, they just can't, can they? They really can. What I'm going to say is the match for me of the night, which is potentially going to stand out as being exceptional, is probably TJP versus Ace Austin. I think that match will be technically amazing. You're going to have
from a West,
I mean, from a wrestling perspective, you're going to see some amazing stuff because both guys are very similar in a sense that they're good on the mat, they're good technically, and they can high fly. So you've really got all elements to create one hell of an X Division match. So I think Ace is going to win it, but I think that is I think that's potentially the one that you're going to go wow. I think from the nostalgia point of view, for me, ODB and Deanna Prazo, basically because I'm such a massive ODB fan.
Who's not a massive ODB fan?
I'm just so glad she's back, and I just love her. She's an amazing performer, I'm excited for that one. And like you say, the other matches, the tag matches are good. You might be right. Am I looking forward to Fire and Flavor more? I don't know, actually, because I know that Fin Juice are exceptionally good. So it's going to be interesting to see which is the better matches out of the two. When we talk about speculating on possible extra matches, no, we've already mentioned that at the moment Decay aren't on the card. So is there a possibility maybe Taurus or a Crazy Steve or even a Rosemary ended up in a match? I would say it's more likely to be either maybe a tag match, possibly with Taurus and Crazy Steve, maybe. We've not got anything real multi-man style at the moment. So are we going to see, some kind of, throw everybody in over the top rope type scenario match, maybe? Is there a possibility of one of those to get a few people in there? We've got the feud with we've got Tenille Dashwood winning this past week on Impact, beating Havoc. I mean, is there something going on there? I know that Nevaeh clearly had a few issues with Caleb with a K, and laying him out there. So maybe is there a possibility of an intergender match?
Interesting.
Just to add a little bit more flavor in there. I don't know. What do you think, Joe? What do you think we're going to get?
I think we're going to get Fulton versus Black Taurus. It's definitely one I think we're going to get, and possibly Rohit and Shira versus James Storm and Sabin. Although we have got that next week, but if they end the match like with a disqualification or something, then that could lead on to.
Like a stipulation match or something, like a hardcore match or something.
Yeah, but I think Black Taurus and Madman Fulton is definitely one that should happen because they were sizing each other up a lot in their match this week.
Yeah, and we haven't seen Fulton in the ring much lately, have we, either? So
exactly,
it would be good to see Fulton back in the ring. What do you think, Steve?
That could definitely play into the X Division title match as well if they take Fulton out early and then Ace kind of says, right, I'm going to do this, but I'm doing this by myself, and sort of, I can do it without Fulton as well. Yeah,
no, exactly. And of course, the other person that we haven't seen, where they're going at the moment is Josh Alexander. So we know that Josh Alexander, is being pushed at the moment as well. Yeah. So this is why I'm saying, is there a possibility of more multi-man matches going on? Again, also we haven't got much we could probably do with another female match as well. So that, again, that's what I'm saying. Is there a possibility we could see Rosemary against somebody?
Yeah, we had the 2 championship matches, so that was 2, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, but on a 9-match card, there's got to be at least another one.
Yeah.
In the
I think
moment,
we'll
we've
have
got
the
1, 2,
Edward.
3, 4, 5. We've got 5 matches in the moment. So there's at least another 4, I would say.
Well, we'll probably have something with Edwards, Cardona, and Myers, won't we? And maybe Hernandez.
Yeah, there's a possibility there, and So I think there's definitely a lot of scope in there, but what they've got to make sure they don't do is jump that gun too early, because we've got Rebellion coming up. So let's not throw all of our cards into one basket. That isn't technically a pay-per-view, even though it is a 3-hour special. But I don't know. It's exciting stuff. I'm really looking forward to seeing where this goes. I'm sure we're going to get another match or 2 announced over the next few days, as we normally do on social media, sort of kind of like leading into next week. And then we normally get maybe another 1 or 2 come to fruition over the go home show before the special, don't we?
Yeah.
So anyway, we're definitely heading in the right direction. That's for sure. Actually, there was something else I wanted to mention as well. Obviously, with this past weekend, I think it was over the weekend, we got to see a Enzo and Big Kaz reunion, didn't we? At a Lariata Pro show, which was being filmed for Impact Plus. Now, apparently, there was 2 shows that they were at over the weekend where they appeared on an Impact Plus special. Who thinks we're going to see this? Who thinks we're going to see the reunited Enzo and Kaz XL turn up as a tag team on Impact Wrestling?
I hope so. I wasn't a big fan of Enzo, but I'm a big fan of Kaz. And as a tag team, they work well together. Enzo's mic scores are off the charts. And to see them outside with WWE and really show off what they can do is something I want to see. Both of them deserved a lot better in their singles runs than they actually got. And both of them basically fell out with the WWE because they weren't happy with what was happening to them.
Well, I mean, we had the Enzo situation with regards to the speculation of him doing stuff he shouldn't have been doing with the lady in a hotel room or whatever it was she was claiming, which then he ended up losing his job over that, and then it turned out that actually it was all lies. It didn't happen, so he got away with all of that. Well, not got away with it, but it all came out in the end, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I think for me, he's one of the best mic guys in the business. So, I mean, MJF is pretty good. So don't get me wrong. Obviously, Sami Callihan is right up there. Chris Jericho is good. There's a lot of really good promo guys out there, but Enzo is up there with the best of them. It just rolls off the tongue. He's incredible. So again, I'd like to see it, and I think they would be a really good, strong tag team for the tag team division in Impact Wrestling.
We do need some more teams.
I think we do. I mean, Triple XL, obviously, we got Reno Scum, again, but they got beat this past week on Impact, so they're going to be back to the bottom of the line again. To bring in a couple more would, I think, be really good. And they can't just keep bringing in teams from AEW and New Japan.
Yeah.
We gotta start having our own teams fight for that. But of course, we've also got James Storm and Chris Sabin as well. They're clearly a tag team at the moment. So interesting where all that's going to go as well. But yeah, so we got some good stuff to look forward to. I agree. I think that both guys have had their demons, and for me, the kind of basis of a man is dealt by his deed. And from what I've seen of Enzo, he's been a very supportive friend to Kaz over his difficult, mental health issues. And, he was looking jacked, mate. He was a true friend to Kaz over that time. And on the pictures I saw and the videos I saw, Kaz was looking in bloody good shape. So something, he's doing something right in his life at the moment.
Yeah.
You know, and I think, you know, I don't think Enzo's been a big part of that. So I think it'd be great to see those guys. And I know they're very good friends with the Good Brothers as well. So I think it'd be great to see those guys turn up on Impact for sure. Now, we are getting to do something really special this week, guys. I'm really excited to do this because I've wanted to do this for quite some time. We sort of put it out there that we wanted to answer the listeners, or you know, the guys, or the fan base of TNI or whatever, questions, and we've had one this week. And today's question, which is obviously the TNI listener question of the week, comes from Richard Cartledge, who asked the team, what do you guys think about the possibility of Kenny Omega being the Impact Wrestling World Champion? I'm going to go over to you on this one, Steve. What do you think on that?
I would have said back around Hard to Kill. I would have been happy with it. You know, I enjoyed Omega on Impact, and I thought I want to say connection, like his presence with Swan, it felt like there was something going on. And even like the sort of slight connection between him, Swan, and Moose, it was kind of, you know, I'd have been okay with it. But considering we've not now seen Omega on Impact for over a month, it doesn't really feel like it's worth it feels like it's worth talking about Omega holding the Impact title, because it doesn't feel like he's around enough
to warrant it.
Yeah, to warrant it.
Yeah. What about you,
I think
Joe?
if he's going to hold the Impact title, then he needs to be here, kind of like Terusa's, kind of for maybe like half a year on Impact.
Yeah, possibly. What about you, Joe? What are your thoughts on it?
Yeah, I think the possibility of him being the world champion has sailed. Unless that they bring him back after Rebellion and build up to Bound for Glory or Slammiversary. Right now, I don't see it happening. Would I be happy to see him as world champion? Yes.
Yeah.
But it would only make sense if Rich Swann was still champion and then Moose would take it off of Kenny Omega, and that bridge is gone now. So it would be, if Kenny Omega wins it now, Sami Callihan would probably be the next one who should be champion, or Moose or Rich Swann get it back.
Yeah. So okay, so here we go, Richard. Right, this is my thought on it. Right, the guys are right. At the end of the day, you know, if it was going to happen, it needed to have happened at Hard to Kill, right? Because that was where all the build, you know, it was going on. We're clearly going to see Kenny turn up for well, we're going to have a Kenny match at the next pay-per-view, Rebellion. So because you're not going to stick the Omega sign in the middle of the poster if he's not going to be there.
Yeah.
So that would be silly, and people would just be like, really? You know, it's a bit like dangling a carrot and then not going through with it. So I think Kenny's going to be there. In what form, I don't know. Do I think he should be champion? I agree with these guys in the sense that if you're going to give him that championship, then he has to have much more airtime on Impact TV. You know, you can't have someone who wins a title and is just like never on your show. That is, you know, that's a crazy thing to do, unless you were, like you say, doing a storyline where he comes along, he wins a world title, and he just basically runs off with it, you know, and you know, takes it off to AEW and takes, you know, and starts maybe defending it in other promotions like New Japan against a New Japan wrestler, or against someone from AEW, or against, you know, someone from Ring of Honor, or, you know, whoever, AAA, you know, whoever is in the frame for defending it against. That could be interesting, because that's creating a real world title.
Yeah.
Because you're defending it all over the world at different promotions.
Yeah. If you can see that the title is being defended like every week elsewhere, you would probably still turn up to watch. But if it was kind of taken over to AEW and he was defending, you know, if it was like sitting on the side and he was just wrestling regular matches, it would be different. I mean, you know, if I sort of flip it and say, you know, you see WWE fans pretty irritated every time Brock Lesnar wins it, because he then buggers off to MMA and that and never
Yeah.
defends it for 6 months. It's the same kind of thing in a way, isn't it?
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, no, definitely. It becomes sort of you don't want to stick your world title on someone that's potentially going to be there part time. I guess that's what I'm trying to
Yes.
say. You know,
Yes.
he's not there all the time. Whoever carries the world title is carrying the hood ornament for the entire company. And if that's the case, then they've got to be there 100% of the time, unless physically not possible through illness or
Well, the
issues
pandemic
with
at the moment as
transport,
well.
pandemic or whatever. But the bottom line is, for me, the answer is no, because like I said, he's just not there enough to be able to carry that honor. For me, it's an honor. And
also
you're carrying the world title. That's the honor.
Yeah, and also for me, and this is something I sort of talk about on the tag bit. You got an AEW wrestler coming in and kind of going straight to the top, and I know Omega is that level, but there's a lot of Impact talent that's kind of worked their way up to get there, and he's kind of jumping straight in front of them.
Yeah, no, exactly. So I just don't think it makes sense, and all you're going to end up doing is
a lot of guys,
your fan base.
A lot of guys objected to that when like Austin Aries came back into Impact Wrestling, and going straight for Eli Drake's title and like that. They did the same when
or Del Patron or whatever his name was.
El Madre.
It's just exactly. It's just not. I don't know. I don't think it just doesn't. I don't think it makes sense to do that, and it would hurt the title rather than elevate it, I think. But there you go, Richard. There's our thoughts. That's our thoughts on your question. If you have any thoughts on what we've just said, or if you want to elaborate on that, please leave us a comment below.
Make a shirt me, guys, if you disagree.
Exactly. This is, we're a free country. We could talk about what we like. We have our own opinions. Nobody's right. Nobody's wrong. It's just our opinion.
We have a discussion.
Exactly. Healthy discussion is what we need. Now, if you want to be the next person given a shout out to, obviously this week was Richard Cartledge. If you want to be the next one of giving us a question, then please leave us below, let us know a question that you'd like us to answer on the show, and we would love to do that. This is that's been fun. Yeah, definitely give us a question, guys, and we'll answer it next week. So on the TNI UK listener question of the week, there we go. So another thing we need to move on to then is I know that last week we had a bit of a discussion about with regards to Heath. He's obviously gone in for his operation on Monday. I think there's a slight update on that. Joe, do you have some info on that?
Yeah, he had the surgery yesterday, and he's got some pictures online now of just him, but the before and after, and later on today, which is now the 3rd of March, he's going to be issuing a statement. When this video's up on YouTube, I'll be posting a link to it if I can find it, to any of the photos, any of the videos he releases in regards to it. And everyone here just wishes him the best of luck in his recovery. I've got a hashtag going at the moment, Heath for Impact again.
Heath for Impact again.
Yeah, because we want to see him back. So let's get that viral, or let's set something a bit more relevant now, because obviously Heath for Impact has gone and he is signed to the company, as we were talking before. But I'm going to keep that going regardless.
I think at the end of the day, I think we wish Heath all the best in his recovery. We look forward to seeing when he comes back. Hashtag get well soon, Heath. I reckon. I think that's what it should be. Get well soon, Heath. Yeah. But there you go. It's up to you. Whatever you want. At the end of the day, just show Heath your support and love. I know that sort of thing really helps these guys. He's obviously gone through a massive operation. I'll look forward to seeing that update later. Like I say, Joe will post the update in the comment section below once that's come up, so you guys can just click on that and check that out. But yeah, what a tough time.
Yeah.
For Heath, very tough time.
Think just that little fall could do all that, would you?
Well, it's crazy because there was all that build, get the guy signed, and then he gets injured. So
he took a hell of a battering throughout his time at WWE, and he's a lot of the injuries they found have been injuries that have been like he's had to fight through while working at WWE, basically, because he's taken such a huge battering. And then when he went over the top rope and popped his hips, basically, he just said, I need to get all this done, dusted, and out of the way now before I get back into the ring.
Yeah.
And even when he went under the knife, they found a lot more than he reported. So it took him 3 months to get this one doctor to, after consulting about 2 or 3. So it's been a hell of a journey just to get on the road to recovery. And now he's going to be able to start that. But yeah, he's a fighter.
Oh, he is a fighter, and I really want him to come back. I've loved the way that they built his character. I mean, the guy's got kids. He's got mouths to feed. We need to get him back in the ring earning some money, don't we?
Yeah.
So it's great to.
Yeah. And Rhino's still got the Call Your Shot Cup, and they said they'd go for the tag titles, didn't they? So
exactly. So he's got his Call Your Shot. So who knows what's going to happen again when we're talking about tag teams. There is a potential for Rhino and Heath to come back into that picture soon. Maybe we'll get an update with regards to how long potential recovery time is going to be for him later on today. Who knows? But all the best, Heath. We love you, so make sure you get yourself fit and ready to take on the world, and maybe take on the Good Brothers for that tag title. Who knows? It'd be great to see that happen, wouldn't it, lads?
Oh yes,
yeah, definitely. Now I wanted to talk about the AEW paid ad that we had this past week on Impact. It was very interesting because it seemed to be almost like a little bit of a U-turn on the way that Tony was talking about Impact. He wasn't negative about Impact in any way, shape, or form. In fact, there was a bit of a point. There was a point in there where he mentions Impact as being, part of the team of them. Obviously, Impact, AEW, and New Japan Pro Wrestling. Against them. Who they are, that kind of thing. So I was interested. That was very interesting, very positive, because we hadn't seen anything like that up till now. It's all been very, dissing Impact as much as possible. I still believe most of that is all very tongue in cheek, based on crap that people post online, and they're just it's almost like Tony's trolling, the marks kind of thing. I quite like it. So. However, I can understand why people get drawn into the negativity of it all. But I just believe it's all part and parcel of where this storyline's going, what they're building to. It's a slow burn process. Now, the only thing I find with it is that, like last night, for instance, they ran down Dynamite twice. It's card for Dynamite twice. And they also ran down the pay-per-view and the card for the pay-per-view and promoted that big time. I mean, the whole segment was been about 6 or 7 minutes long. And for me, I just felt that it's just too much. Like the way that they're pushing it, especially as we're not getting the similar thing on AEW on a Wednesday. We're not getting them pushing an Impact pay-per-view to their fan base. So so you could see where, I know that you were saying, Joe, and I know this to be the case, that Tommy Dreamer mentioned that some of the, it's a two-way street, and they don't see it happening quite as much from the side of AEW as they do of Impact. But again, like I said last week when we talked about that, I think that's still all part of the storyline. It's the kayfabe of everything. But I don't know. What do you think about these paid ads, Steve?
Yeah, well, as you said, this one was very, very different, wasn't it? It felt like if you were being written for by someone, this was written by someone completely different. It felt like they were even like Tony Schiavone spoke in a completely different manner.
It's almost like they've taken on board the maybe they've sort of said, look, the Impact fans are getting proper pissed. You need to tone it down a little bit, kind of thing. I don't know.
Although I did get a laugh because obviously Impact and TNA have always got criticism for all their gimmick matches, and apparently they were advertising an exploding barbed wire death match.
Oh yeah, exactly. Yeah. This is what Don Callis wanted.
Yeah,
an exploding barbed wire death match. Interesting. What about you, Joe? I mean, what are your thoughts on the ads?
Yeah, I think if they're going to continue, then they need to be at least a couple of minutes shorter. It's almost too long. You know, when they started out, it was about 1 or 2 minutes, and that was fine. You know, there was a quick jab at Impact Wrestling or a sarcastic thank you for letting me come on and do all this for your favor, and then a quick rundown of the card, and it ended there. But Impact Wrestling need to somehow try and get the same done on AEW, but who will be the guy to do that is different, because at the moment we got Don Callis who's there, who's propping up Kenny Omega. So Don Callis is like the ultimate heel on AEW, propping up Kenny Omega. So it's hit and miss. They don't want to overburden their side now with too much of Impact Wrestling, although they are overburdening Impact Wrestling with too much of AEW.
Yeah, I just feel it's the length for me.
Yeah,
or maybe find a different way of like doing it each week, you know, like rather than just the same version of the paid ad, try and find a different way. Like 1 week have a paid ad, 1 week have a different kind of, like, I don't know, have like them interviewing Tony Khan and then send it over as just a normal interview or something, or even do it
maybe
every
just
other
come
week or
up come up with different ways of kind of, you know, promoting the card, rather than just
do it every other week or something, you know.
Maybe just do it for the, you know, maybe start only doing it really for the pay-per-views. I mean, this is my thing, you know, at the end of the day, the way the way I'm looking at it at the moment is that from a kind of advertising point of view, the AEW are able to promote their shows, like down to even talking about the cards and everything, but which is, you know, trying to encourage the Impact fan base to go and watch AEW, but we're not getting them doing the same, other than, oh, you know, Kenny Omega's on the show.
Yeah.
You know, like that to me, that's not promoting, you know, that's not a joint kind of promotion between the two companies. It's being a bit heavy side, you know, one-sided, if you know what I mean.
Well, it worked previously because obviously, as we said, they kind of were as like the heel in the but now they want to act as the joint. It's kind of a bit like, okay, but
I just think it threw me a little bit. You know, I'm pleased that he acknowledged that, because I think that's a really cool thing to do. But are we suddenly going to go back to this, you know, dissing the Impact Wrestling kind of, you know, method again? I don't know. What I have noticed is that Tony is definitely getting more and more confident in performing in front of a camera. You know, in the way that he delivers everything is very deadpan. It's very, you know, his voice raises as he's talking about certain aspects of things. You know, he's starting to become like an announcer almost, which, you know, it's great, you know, and that's better because it's, you know, a lot easier to watch. I mean, the first one they did, I found a bit cringe. I thought he was a bit cringe. But as time's gone on, he's definitely got better at it. So that's all good, you know. I mean, and that makes it better to watch, which is great. But like I said, you know, we've got to see something back, and we've got to get these a little bit shorter. You know, I mean, it was like, it seemed to go on forever. I was like, oh my God. You know, you need to stop this now. It's too much. And the other thing I found annoying from this past week as well is that they did the flashback of the week again. Now, like, no, you know, just because you're not doing Explosion at the moment, don't suddenly start pulling that shit on Impact.
Yeah,
like,
you got BTI for that.
Yes, I don't want to see Sting versus you know, RVD in their prime, you know, in a full several thousand people arena at this moment. I don't want to see that. You know, I'd rather see another match of, you know, some of the younger talent on the roster.
Show some of their matches from the indie circuit.
Or if you want to promote stuff, why not promote some of the earlier stuff of Rich Swann and the Moose, or building up to their world title match at Sacrifice? There's so many things that you can be doing other than promoting. You know, that Sting isn't even on our show anymore, right?
Yeah.
Like, he's on their show. So I don't know. I just find it that's a little bit frustrating. I think it's unnecessary. It doesn't need it. You know, and like I said, we could have been looking at another Decay match, as far as I'm concerned.
I was just fast forward through them segments.
I did as well. Yeah, I literally. Oh God, fast forward. I'm not interested in that. You know what I mean? You just gets on my nerves, that sort of stuff.
Oh,
Not necessary.
You got to fast forward. I had to sit through the damn thing.
There you go. Yeah. But
but Twitch.
Yeah, I love watching it on Impact Plus. I do. I love watching it on Impact Plus. You've got no adverts. You can fast forward the chaff. It's great. But yeah, so that was something else I found a little bit frustrating. Another piece of news that has come out in the last 24 hours or so is that there is a possibility that NXT is going to be moving to Tuesday nights. Now, well, there's two things to come out of that. One is that, well, clearly AEW have won the Wednesday Night War, because if they're planning on moving, then they've clearly lost, haven't they? Because which we all know they're not. They're like a good 150, 200,000, you know, viewers light on AEW, aren't they? Every week now. So yeah, they've lost. So if that's what they're doing, that's fine. They've accepted they've lost. They're moving to another night. I mean, generally, WWE don't even really acknowledge Impact exists. So they definitely will not be seeing Impact on a Tuesday night as a challenge to them. So they'll be going in expecting to not have any issues. Now, do you agree with that? Like, because I know from my perspective, like if I was in the US and I had a choice of watching SmackDown or Impact, I'm going to watch Impact. Do you think that enough of the current fan base of Impact that watch on a Tuesday night would start watching NXT?
Oh, it's 50-50, because they got a lot of talent now from Impact Wrestling got into there. The Rascals, Ty Valkyrie's jumped straight up into Raw rather than going through NXT. So they lost a big draw to NXT there by shunting Ty Valkyrie up so quickly. But she deserves it. But she deserves it after all the stuff she's done on the indies and that. So there's smart booking there from them in that perspective. But I think the loyal fan base is going to continue to watch Impact Wrestling. The in-betweeners are going to probably flick back and forth between. It depends what time it's being shown.
That's what I was going to say.
But if it's going to be on a Tuesday, I think Impact Wrestling should go to Thursday. Make Thursday Impact Wrestling again. You know, TNA had Thursdays and it worked for them. There's no WWE, AEW stuff. Tuesday now is AEW Dark, NXT, SmackDown. I think SmackDown on Tuesday, and Impact Wrestling. So it's for at least 3 or 4 wrestling shows on one night. It's too much for anyone to take in.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure what is the best move. You know, is it worth giving it a few weeks just to see what the viewership's like? And if it does drop significantly, then consider moving to a Thursday. You know, I honestly believe that the majority of the Impact fans are very loyal to the Impact Wrestling and would say, okay, I'm going to watch Impact Wrestling, but I'm going to record NXT and watch that later, or you know, or vice versa. I don't know. These days, this is the thing. This is the whole argument of the, you know, being on the cable network as opposed to the whole streaming thing. That, you know, people see so much, or they take so much from the viewership on the night of it being shown for the first time. They take so much from that. They forget, you know, the people that, you know, maybe are watching something else that night and then go and watch it the next day, or you know, or later on in the week when they're off work, or you know, that kind of thing. So it doesn't take any of that into consideration, and that I find frustrating as well. So, but I don't know. I'm gonna sit on the fence on this one, because I personally don't think they should move it.
Oh, I'm not saying they should move it straight away. Like you said, I think they should see it out a month or two, see how it goes.
I just feel that you know, they've owned Tuesday nights now for quite some time, and it would be like too easy just to go, oh, we're going to move to a Thursday.
Yeah,
I think they have to test the water.
yeah.
Give it 2 or 3 weeks, test the water. If we see a significant drop, accept the fact that maybe we need to move nights and then go to a Thursday.
It
Try
also
a
depends
Thursday.
if they're able to, because like the TV station might not have anything available Thursday night.
To be fair, they own it. I mean, I'm sure that if they wanted to move to a Thursday night, they would. That's the way I feel. Well, I just think that we've invested so much into Tuesday night Impact. You know, Tuesday become the night of Impact. You know, it's all about us. It's our night.
We own the night.
Yeah, exactly. You know, I mean, they'll own any night they go on, but you know, I just feel that you know, it would be a shame to let all that hard work and perseverance go to waste. But like you say, you can only test the water. You get in there, you test the water. You know, you're going to know after 2 or 3 weeks if you know, you're not going to be able to compete. You know, you're going to lose viewership or whatever. You'll know fairly early on, and then they'll have to make that decision. It is a shame, and I hope it works out for Impact, definitely, because it is my go-to wrestling brand. So that's what I hope will happen. But there you go. But anyway, congratulations, AEW. If this is true, then you have won the Wednesday Night Wars. Well done. Yeah, let's give a round of applause.
I'll give a little sarcastic clap like Tony Khan gives for Impact Wrestling.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well done.
Yeah.
Good job. Anyway.
Don't say we didn't help you.
No, don't say that at all. No, it's all good. But yeah, so you know, it's interesting. Anything else you guys want to bring up before we sort of start to come to a close? I think we've pretty much covered everything now. Is there anything else in the pipeline? I don't think there is.
I was going to mention there was a couple of things I was just going to say, like regarding the New Japan and kind of Impact relation and the tag team match.
Yeah,
I kind of like we had a good match this week, and it was kind of intriguing because like when Finn Juice came out a few weeks ago, and you saw the Good Brothers come out.
Yeah,
you knew that this is where this match was heading coming up this week.
Yeah, definitely. I think you certainly got you know, I again, that's the thing that's a little bit disappointing for me at the moment. You know, the Good Brothers are champions, which is fantastic. You know, they're definitely the right persons, the right people to be champs at the moment. You know, but I think they need to be defending that title against Impact teams, not just other promotional teams. And at the moment, that's what we're seeing, isn't it?
Yeah,
so,
I'm finding it really underwhelming.
Yeah, we need these guys to be defending against our talent.
Yeah, I understand why they're doing it, to kind of help bridge and build the relationship, but at the same time, you had a match tonight, and in respect, like Triple XL and Reno Scum, they looked really weak, and I mean, especially Reno Scum, they've been around for a long while now, and you know, you mentioned earlier that they've just gone back to the bottom of the ladder, and to be honest, I don't think they've for years they've never climbed up to the first step of the ladder.
Yeah, no, they to be fair, they have sort of been that, you know, right, we need a team that sort of kind of take a whipping. We're giving the odd win here and there, but we need that team that when the whipping needs to be made, it's Reno Scum that's going to take it. It's a shame because I love them. I think they're a really good team. Yeah. I think they're a really, really good team. You know, Adam Thornstowe especially, I think he's an incredible talent. I'd like to see him go solo, actually, because I think he'd be an amazing X Division champion.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, definitely. Adam Thornstowe would be an amazing X Division champion. So I'd love to see him, and he's a good talker. So I'd love to see him, you know, go on a singles run. You know, like you say, maybe head into the X Division. He's very athletic. He's very fast. He's a decent size, so he carries that power as well. So you know, I think Adam Thornstowe would make a really, really good X Division wrestler.
Oh. Reno Scum versus Ace Austin and Madman Fulton is a good start off if you're going to put Thornstowe into the X Division.
Yeah, definitely. That would be a great match. Yeah, definitely.
There was always that story, weren't there, when they were on their previous run, that they were meant to get the push that OVE got, weren't they?
Yeah, they were originally. That's what I
Yeah.
heard. Whether that's
Yeah.
true, I don't know, but that is what I heard. Yeah, but again, I'm glad OVE got it because they were amazing for quite
Yeah.
some time. But you know, what a time to be an Impact fan at the moment. There's so many things going on. The product is improving. I think it's looking great. That pretty much covers everything, I think, for this week's Impacted. Do you want to give us a plug, Steve? Where can we find you on the socials?
You can find me over on Twitter, where I put everything Impact Wrestling related, updates, news, and everything at SimplySteve311.
No problem. Joe, what about yourself?
Again, follow me on Twitter at JOKEmptySpace. You can jump onto Facebook, look for Joe O'Keefe, KWEFFE. Look for hashtag empty space, look for hashtag the void, look for hashtag daily giggle. You might find me pop up 1 or 2 places there, and check out any Impact Wrestling groups. I'm in a couple of them. Things for Impact Wrestling related, things for comedy, and maybe a bit more controversial stuff. But you step into the void, you taking the empty space of my mind.
Fantastic. Okay, and I recommend following Joe and Steve as well. But Joe definitely is. You definitely risk. Take a risk when you jump into the world of Joe. That's for sure.
If you read my bio, it does give you a warning.
Now, if you're interested, to find out a little bit more or follow the Bison, I use my Twitter primarily for my wrestling stuff. When I talk about that type of thing, my Facebook is more personal, but I do a little bit on there, but primarily on Twitter at Lord Bison 45. Don't forget to give us a thumbs up to the video, give us a subscribe, smash the bell to never miss a listen. And don't forget, we're also available not only on YouTube, but SoundCloud, Spotify, iTunes, and pretty much wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts, you will find the Total Nonstop Impact Network. So don't forget to get over there and subscribe to any of those so you don't miss any of the content that we put out on a weekly basis. As I said, the TNI UK guys, we put out Impacted. The Friday nights belong to us. We will always give you something on a Friday night. I often do interviews as well with Bison Talks Impact. Haven't done a few recently, been a tad busy with the house move and all that kind of stuff. But I have sent out a few feelers, so you never know what might be coming in the next few weeks. So look out for that as well. Bison Talks Impact, it could be coming up with some interesting stuff. That pretty much covers everything, really, I think, for this week. Don't forget, leave us a comment if you want us to give you a shout out and answer any of your questions for the TNI UK listener question of the week. Don't forget to leave that down below in the comment section. Please share this video. Let as many people know about this as you possibly can. And as I said before, give us a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Anyway, guys, all the best. I've been Bison. That's been Simply Steve. That's been the Joker. Until next time, stay safe.
Take care.